Welcome to Grace Among Us, the podcast where we unearth the many faces and places of grace and share stories of the power of grace in our human lives. Our desire is that this will inspire you to see grace in your own life and share it with others.
Good afternoon, Carrie Richard. Pleasure to be here with you today to talk about grace once again, our absolute favorite topic. My name is Ebony Gilbert, and I am a corporate America employee who really just needs a little bit more out of life. So I do this in my spare time, and it fills my cup. Carrie, who are you?
Hello, Ebony Gilbert. I am Carri Richard. I am doing one of my most favorite things in the world, too, being here and speaking about grace. I am a mindset coach, and I help people make space and enjoy the ride. And
Okay.
full disclosure, part of that has to do with grace most often. So, yeah, I'm excited to be here. Let's see the question. Ooh, here's the question. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's get it.
So, there's a lot of talk in the world about alignment, like getting in alignment, finding your purpose, and being in the flow. And I wanted to ask you, what does that have to do with grace?
Finding your flow, being in the flow, finding your purpose. We have this thing at work, and we say it often. It kind of recalibrates conversations when they go left. And we ask, "Are you leading with purpose?" And I'll be honest with you, and I'm going somewhere with this. It typically comes up when we feel like it's a hard decision. It's not easy. When we don't feel like we're in the flow. And if I had to put my grace glasses on, I think it really translates a little bit to, are you leading with grace? Is there grace in your leadership? And I think when you're in the flow and things are moving, you, in a very literal sense, you're in it. So if I'm in the flow, I'm from the beach. And if you're in a rip current, you're not creating it. You can't stop it. You can't even fight it, but you can go with it. So if the flow, if the current is the assignment, is the purpose, and you go with it, you're in it, the grace is going to carry you because it's already moving. It's already moving. It's so when I think of, we say, what does this have to do with grace? If you're in the flow, you're operating in the grace for today, and then tomorrow, and the next day. And the whole finding your purpose is knowing when to be in that flow, knowing when to move with it. Even if it feels like something you should resist. And my mind is very linear right now, but I feel like my words are not. Are you going with me? Are you there with me? Are we on the same?
I am going with you. It's that rip current, like if you fight it or try to do it all yourself, it literally is life or death.
It is.
It can be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's a great analogy. And the travel that you do in that rip current is not under your own power. In
It is
fact,
not.
you have to let go and trust that all you need is there
It's
to get
there.
out of it. Right?
And when it's ready to release, it will.
Yeah. And where you're going, like the direction you're traveling in, you really don't have a dog in the fight on it.
You don't. So if you want to live, you want to survive, you've got to go with it. You've got to be in that flow, that
Yes.
current.
Yeah.
I think that current is the purpose.
Agreed. And there's a sense of ownership, of like personal responsibility. So if I'm caught in that rip current, I have to accept that I'm in a
Mhm.
rip current. I have to accept I cannot do this myself.
Mhm.
Like if I don't own that, it's usually to my detriment.
Now let me ask you, the owning it,
Mhm.
does that happen immediately? Because if you're in that rip current, and I've never been fully immersed in a rip current, but I've definitely had one wrap around my ankles, and your immediate inclination is to pull. Oh no, it's to just fight it.
Mhm.
For me. So, do you immediately know that it's a rip current when it happens? Do you immediately know this is the flow? This is it. It's happening.
I don't think I would never answer yes totally all the time, because that is not true. Uh, I I am gonna reflect that the more I know that that's a possibility, that
Hmm.
if I'm let me say it this way, yeah, I'll fight it, because usually I'll fight it because I don't know what the outcome's gonna be. I feel like I'm out of my element. It's new and it's scary. Like, I'm doubting myself, I'm doubting whatever it is. That's my fight. That's the resistance. And I also have the blessing of enough experience that if I keep pushing and it keeps getting harder, like
Hmm.
if I was in a rip current, I would start drowning, then I know I'm I am not inviting grace in. Then I know I have a choice today.
Hmm.
I need to let go. Like, this is no bueno. It's not
Let
working.
go and let God.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, when the flow, the current, is the assignment,
Mhm.
and you don't know, and you don't know all those things you just listed. I don't know the outcome. I don't know this. I don't know that. But I do know that if I fight this based on past experiences, it doesn't fare well for me.
Exactly. Yeah. Most things in life that I wanna fight are bigger than me,
Hmm.
and so I need help. I need something bigger than me
Hmm.
to help. And I've and I'm learning, we're talking about alignment here because a lot of people talk about it these days. It's a accessible idea, being aligned to your purpose. Like you said, leading with purpose. Like when you get in a meeting and everybody's on the same page, that's usually when things move.
Hmm.
If you have everybody all scattered around until you get on the same page, but somebody's got to bring you to that page, right? It's that authority, that um,
Hmm.
alignment. We had a little chat before this. It's like assignment in the world of grace.
I love it. So I got a lot of words: alignment, assignment, the authority that comes with being on assignment and being aligned.
Yeah.
Uh, I like alliteration. It makes me excited. So assignment, alignment gives you authority. Um, God's grace covers you. You said something that sparked a thought for me. You said most things I'm fighting are bigger than me,
Mm,
right? And
yeah.
that's when you need the grace. That's when you need some alignment within your assignment and this authority. So David, small guy, little boy, teenage boy in the Bible. There's a giant. There's a fight that's bigger than him,
Mhm.
much bigger than him.
Yeah.
But he's on assignment. He's on assignment. And he has the God given authority to carry out this assignment. So within this assignment, there's authority, but there's a misalignment of his seemingly small tool.
Mm-hmm.
There's a misalignment. He has a slingshot, and there's a giant, and his tool does not align with the size of the fight, right? So then the other G word shows up. You can use one or two here. Big G, little G shows up, and suddenly his authority is realized. Because even though his tools seemed inadequate, it wasn't big enough for the fight. Grace made it bigger, and provided an extra layer of authority. So when you said that, it kind of brought to my mind all the times where I as well has felt like, this is, I'm doing what I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to be doing here. I know I'm on assignment, but this is so much bigger than the tools I have in my backpack right now. And then my guy shows up with the grace. And now I'm realizing my authority. Now I'm in the flow.
You're owning it, right?
I'm owning it. How you said that, I thought, oh man, the fight is bigger. The fight is bigger. And if you didn't take a moment to really just stop and say, man, are my steps guided here?
Yeah.
Am I really on assignment? Does this align with the purpose of why I'm put on this planet?
You know what?
And if you
Oh,
go ahead.
When you're saying that, one of the best things when I'm in that place, when you say, "Am I on assignment?" the tool I use, the thing I say most often is, for me, it's like, "All right, God, open or shut this door," and being willing for that door to shut. Because if I'm not on assignment, I want to know.
I want to know.
Yep, and I'm willing to let it all go. And I'll tell you what.
Oh, now that second part,
Mhm.
we can't skate past that. It's easy to ask for help. It's a whole different thing when you say, help me. And when you help me, I'm going to surrender.
Yeah. Yeah. But you had the perfect analogy to start with. I actually, yeah, people die.
This is life or death.
Yeah, the riptide it doesn't work well. And this is the same stuff.
Wow, that's good.
That's
good.
this may be a little tangent, but it keeps coming up. So I used to, when I was in high tech, I had a team in India who I'd never met yet. And oh my gosh, they were awesome, awesome people. And I was in the US, a lot of times in the technical world, there'll be team leads, right? So we have the responsibility without the authority. It's like they don't want to make you a manager or give you that title. And there's a culture here where you kind of have authority, like with the team lead, even though on paper you don't, right? It works.
Okay.
It works in high
It's
tech
functional.
in this country. Well, so what I found in where I was in India, it's all about title. So it was really interesting, the conversation to have and say, look, this title is important. This authority is important because without having this authority or assignment, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. And it was amazing. Nothing underneath changed. A title changed and everything shifted.
Isn't that something? Because that title granted the authority.
Exactly. Exactly. And this is very much the same. I most of the stuff that I get to do these days, including this right here, I didn't equip myself to do this.
Me neither. I have a slingshot. Okay.
I don't even know if I have a slingshot. I got
I
a
have a
pebble
slingshot.
back here and a rubber
Maybe you
band
get your
to,
pebble and put it
where's
in
my
my slingshot.
slingshot?
We'll be all right, because listen, I got a slingshot.
Right, on paper, doesn't make sense,
Mm-mm.
right? This little kid with a slingshot against a giant, on paper, that does not make sense. But he was on assignment. So the question to people listening to this is, are you on assignment?
Are you on assignment? Are you on assignment?
And
And for little guy David, that was one of his, early assignments. He went on to be appointed king. He had an appointment, another assignment, and the assignments grew and they got bigger and they got bigger. And if you know anything about my buddy David, he has some issues. He wasn't perfect. His tool belt wasn't perfect either. But his assignments and his authority and his appointments continued to grow. Um, that was just one. So are you on assignment? And if you are, give it your all, be a good steward of it, stay in the flow, because the next one's going to be a little bit bigger.
and be encouraged that you're being equipped with everything you need today.
Today.
3 weeks from now, that's the other hang up. I want it all right now to make sure that I can do the whole assignment. I don't know that it works that way.
You're equipped for today's assignment.
Yes. Some call it daily bread.
There's a thought.
Yeah. So if you're on assignment, be encouraged that you're always given precisely what you need at the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then move in that authority. Take some authority. You give yourself the title. What's the title? What's the title you want to call yourself? I'm a child of God. My father's a king. He rules the universe. Like, what title? How do you encourage yourself with the title that comes along with this assignment? And it's not, corporate America, corporation, director, blah, blah, blah. That's not it. That has its own set of authority for different reasons. And sometimes there's alignment and sometimes there's not. But what is this title that gives you the authority to walk in this purpose and to lead with purpose and to walk in the flow and to have alignment and to not fight the current?
Yeah.
I like your example a lot.
Thanks. What does it feel like to be on assignment and in alignment with authority on that assignment, Ebony?
I love it. Can you say it again 3 times fast? Uh, what does it feel like? Oh, what does it feel like? It's decisive. It's very decisive. I know when there's something that I'm supposed to be doing, and even when I get the resistance or it feels hard, instead of me feeling like, oh, I was going to give up, it's not worth it, I become frustrated because I'm like, why are we wasting time with these barriers? I still must go forth. I gotta keep going. So I'm decisively moving in the direction I'm supposed to be going, but I'm really frustrated that I gotta pause and take breaks and do whatever needs to be done. But my mind is still made up. My mind is made up. It's a made up mind for me.
Mm.
And I'm not talking about something that I rationalized and did a, racy chart on and project manage. I'm talking about my heart is convicted. This is where I'm supposed to be. This is where I'm supposed to be going. And God's going to protect it. And it doesn't matter what you say, what you do, what I say, what I do, what I feel, because my feelings can be tricky. They're pretty fickle, but I've got a convicted heart. So it's not always warm and fuzzy, Carrie. Sometimes it's an immense amount of frustration, but I'm still decisive about it. My mind is made up. I don't have that certainty if I'm not on assignment.
I hear that. I hear that.
I can't even generate it. It doesn't come from me.
Yeah.
I'm going to, what's it called? Devil's advocate?
You can't fake
I'll
the
play that
funk.
role all the time.
Yeah.
That's me.
What do you mean?
Glass is
Like,
half full or half empty.
uh,
My glass has mud in it. Like I'm going to come up with every possible scenario that can make this go wrong. I'm going
if
to
you're not
anticipate it
on assignment.
if I'm not on assignment.
I gotcha. Yeah, it gets
That's my natural inclination.
that's like pushing a boulder up a mountain.
When I'm on assignment,
Mhm.
those thoughts don't even enter into my mind. I see them
Mhm.
and I'm like, oh, but no, I have authority here and I could speak to the mountain and it will move. That does not work when there's misalignment between the assignment and what I'm doing. Um, so for me, that's my trigger point. That's when I know, like, oh, and it's not based on an emotional response to what's happening in the moment. Does that make sense? I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. I feel like this podcast is an assignment for me. I
Yeah.
feel strongly about that. I don't, let me not mince words. I know that. This I know. This I believe. It does not stop me from having a day on a Thursday at 3:45 where my computer stops working. I'm tired. I'm frustrated. The login materials don't work, and I'm like, tomorrow. I'm still going to have the feelings of frustration. I'm still going to have the feelings of fatigue. I'm still going to have the feelings of maybe not today, but my mind is made up that this is where I'm supposed to be. And no matter how tired I am, no matter what's going on, God's going to make a way. We're going to get on here. We're going to talk. He's going to speak through us, and someone's going to be reached. I believe that.
Yeah.
So, regardless of my feelings, which are, you know, let the wind blow, they'll change tomorrow. My heart is convicted that there's alignment between my purpose and what we're doing for these 25 to 30 minutes. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, and I agree. I love that you said, like, all along the way, that resistance and the feeling and the, "Oh gosh, really?" And all that stuff. You're right. Those but there's also for me, there's also when you talk about it, like, I know this is
I know this.
that feeling, like, there is a feeling for me, and sometimes I forget it, which is where I get in all the resistance, but, like, when we get on here and start talking, I I know,
I
like,
know. It's a
my
knowing.
my heart rests, like, there's
Mhm.
space, like, my shoulders come down, like, uh, there's something buoying me up that is not me.
Mhm. Right. And suddenly my slingshot of energy becomes an art, and I'm ready and I'm equipped.
Yes.
Um, and I didn't see it before the moment. I couldn't feel it. So when my feelings fail me, I rely on my knowing.
Mhm.
And my knowing says, hey, remind yourself of why you're doing this. Remind yourself of who told you to do this, who gave you this authority. Now walk in it, speak in it.
And that's the thing, that it's the putting feet on it.
Mhm.
Because when I forget, when I get far away, when I'm in resistance, when I'm, deciding that I'm gonna swim to shore, I've had
Mhm.
enough of this floating about, even though it's working, I'm gonna swim to shore until I let go again, until I put feet on my faith, until I keep walking in that assignment, uh, I can forget.
You can forget.
But it comes right back once I get moving again.
Mhm. You have to remind your soul and remind your feelings
Mhm.
that this really does make sense, even if I can't feel it or see it.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't you want to swim back to the shore? I mean, it's comfortable out there, it's dry out there, you
I'm
know,
in a hurry. I see something shiny,
and I want it,
and
and I want it now.
I'm gonna get there faster. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. That's
So
good.
So, yeah, it's the encouragement that if you have something that's going on right now, whoever's listening to this, and you're just, um it seems really hard, ask for the door to be shut or open. And if the door stays open, you're probably on assignment.
You're on assignment.
And be encouraged that all you need to take the next step is here.
Absolutely. God's grace will guide you through.
Guided steps.
Guided steps that'll take you to the next point. One last thought. I'm always fascinated by these like message in a bottle things, and these events that happen in Japan and this stuff washes up on the shore of the west coast of the United States. When I'm thinking of a current, I'm thinking about a flow. I'm thinking you don't know where you're going to land.
Mm-mm.
You don't know where God's about to wash you, what shore he's about to wash you up on. You thought that shore you saw and you knew what the shiny thing was attractive. You don't know where he's about to land you. He's taking you someplace you've never seen before, something you've never experienced before, a whole different continent of experiences if you just stay in the flow. Let him take you there.
Yeah.
Let him take you there.
It's always better. I've been talking about the conversation of like answered prayers never come in the packaging that we think it will. And I heard a different take on that is I would have known what to pray for if I had had the view as broad as God.
Say it again.
I would have known how to pray for something, what to pray for, if my view was as vast as God's. So I don't even know, so to the point of like, we have no idea what shore we're going to wash up on. We're not supposed to. In fact, we can't.
Would you need to pray if you already knew?
Right. So.
Yeah, listen, that is never, I don't want to know what God's going to do next. Sometimes today is overwhelming. Spare me. I don't, I don't need to see all the steps, but I know they're there.
Yeah.
I know they're there. All right, Carrie, close us out.
Oh, you're so good.
You're like, I just did, Ebony.
I know. I'm going to let you have the final words today.
Alignment, assignment, authority, purposeful. Let the purpose give you peace.
Yes.
Let God give you the grace. Allow him to guide your steps. There's grace in guided steps. There's authority on assignment. There's alignment with purpose when you're on assignment. All these little catchphrases that we're going to put in hashtags. Alignment, assignment, authority, grace, God, peace, purpose. Now mix it all together and tell us what you think.
There you go. I love it. All right, Ebony. Grace out.
Grace out.
Thank you so much for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode, please let us know. We love to hear from you, and share it with a friend. Also, please be sure to subscribe so you're notified when a new episode is posted. We hope you're leaving with another pointer to grace, a new perspective that will light it up in your own life. Until next time, be well, be bold, be kind to yourself, and be on the lookout.